Hi, Dave Schwann here, backstage at the J. Pritzker Pavilion, and very excited about bringing you the Grant Park Music Festival season this year. We begin Friday, July 2nd at 6:30 with the annual 4th of July event. A lot of great music on the program. We are delighted to be talking to Christopher Bell, the Grant Park Chorus Director, once again after a very, very long time, nearly 2 years. Maestro, welcome back. It's so great to see you again.
Thank you so much. I can't believe I'm here. I know that coming out of lockdown for you has only been very recent, and it's quite new to you too. But flying in from the UK through deserted airports in both Edinburgh and Dublin to come into O'Hare, where everybody's just all on top of each other, and to be caught in a traffic jam heading down from O'Hare into town, it's like, yep, we're back. We're back. And we, the Grant Park Music Festival, are back as well, and I'm thrilled to be back here again.
Now, as we begin the season here, and we are beginning a bit late, ordinarily we begin about the middle of June, here we will be beginning July 2nd. What kind of a challenge has it been for you and your colleagues to get back up to speed, to get things rolling, the way you would like them to be?
Well, I mean, actually, what is going to be remarkable is how close to the real thing it's going to be. A couple of weeks ago, the limitations having to register for tickets, that was removed. And so people will be a lot freer to turn up to the Grant Park Music Festival like we used to do before. In terms of programming, Carlos and I have been quite adventurous. You're going to get the usual mix of familiar and unfamiliar pieces of music. You're going to get Carlos's adventurous streak in terms of bringing you pieces you may have never heard before. And so a lot of things that you're going to experience are going to be very similar, including the 4th of July.
This is a great way to begin this season, our Independence Day concert. You and Carter
for the price of one.
For the price of one. But this is a wonderful way to begin the programming. And really, one of the things that stands out for me is always the Armed Forces Salute, where you have members of the Armed Forces stand when the various themes for Army, Navy, Air Force are playing here. That's a very moving thing to see.
That's a very moving thing to see, but I think I've got something that might cap it this year.
Okay.
Yep. Because we in the world have been very grateful to the people who have been frontline workers, the people who've been in hospitals, the people who've been driving ambulances, the people who have developed vaccines, and done such an extraordinary thing to bring the world back from the brink. I mean, that sounds a bit dramatic, me saying that, but it is true. We have invited many of those people to come and join us for our concerts on the 2nd and 3rd of July. Our concert will start with John Williams' Summon the Heroes.
Appropriate piece for that.
Summon the Heroes. And because of the Olympics this year, of course, because of the Olympics, but also because we have summoned, if you like, it seems a bit dramatic, but we have invited these frontline workers to come and join us for this Independence Day celebration so that we can thank them very publicly for the work that they've done at the coalface, dealing with the patients and helping during this pandemic. And at this particular time, coming back out into the light as we are, that'll be a moment I think that people will remember in the concert.
Certainly will be. And as you mentioned at the outset, we have some unusual pieces, some usual things. For instance, the Vivaldi Gloria will be included in the season, pieces by Haydn and Bruckner. Now, during the pandemic and during the shutdown, which happened all over the world, what did you do in terms of waiting this out and getting ready to come back here and elsewhere where you really perform internationally? In other words, the question would be, how did you keep busy?
Okay, so what I want to tell you is that I studied French and German and Italian. I want to tell you that I took up woodworking. I want to tell you that I completely redecorated my apartment in Edinburgh. But I did none of those things. Absolutely none. I did start out trying to revitalize my German, but I lost the thread for that. I'll tell you something very interesting. Last night I came to this building to do a rehearsal with the soloists for the Vivaldi program. And on the way here, because I have spent so much time cultivating my garden at home in Edinburgh, I was acutely aware of all the beautiful plants that were in Millennium Park. And I stopped to look at them and thinking, what a wonderful display of, what are they, Astrantia they were, and a wonderful display of begonias. And I was very aware, and we've talked about it before, about how Chicago is a green city that I think it was Maggie Daly was very interested in spreading flowers around. She wanted the greening of the city. And I was very aware of the flowers around outside the restaurants and in the park. So I spent a lot of time in my garden. The garden had been neglected for many years because I've been traveling the world. Well, there's no excuse. I had to knuckle down. And the neighbors noticed and were very grateful. And I made a community of friends in my neighborhood with my neighbors over the period of time that I just haven't because I've been traveling.
Just before we started the interview, you mentioned that on the 17th of May, you were finally able to sing outside was it Edinburgh? Or
in
was
Edinburgh,
it
yes,
Edinburgh?
indeed, yeah.
You were finally able to sing outside, which must have been a sense of happiness and a sense of joy. Tell us about that, and tell us what you sang.
We sang Josh Groban's You Raise Me Up.
Okay.
And it wouldn't have been a piece that I would have chosen, but it was a piece that the BBC Breakfast programme said that they would come along and film us, and that's a national program. Imagine that program being the 6 a.m. program going out every state in Scotland. That's a program. Every state in the United States, I beg your pardon. In the UK, that's a program that goes out right across the UK. So when they said, "Will you sing this?" we said, "Yes, okay." We gathered from the four corners of the areas round Scotland. We didn't want to travel too far because at that stage travel is still restricted. We met for the first time in 15 months on the top of Carlton Hill, which is one of the 7 extinct volcanoes in Edinburgh. And we met for the first time, and it was extraordinary. It really was. And people who heard it that morning recognized it for what it was. The first group singing together after such a long time. People looked up from their breakfasts, and people say they had a lump in their throat, they had a tear in their eye. They couldn't believe it was happening. For many people, it was a signal that it was the beginning of the end. It was the beginning of the real move back to normality.
Just some hope and some joy and
Hope.
light at the end of the tunnel. I know that's a cliche, but that's what it is.
Well, hasn't it felt like a tunnel?
Yes.
These last however many months there are, and it's going on and it's going on. And you think, will we ever get back to that thing? And the fact that it's happening, it's just magnificent. It's wonderful.
Well, the fact that the Grant Park Music Festival is happening again is wonderful. Thank you for your time today.
No problem.
We appreciate it and very much looking forward to hearing the great chorus and orchestra. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.